What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Daily Snap. Today, it's a new day. We got a new season. We got a brand new, feisty looking tiger looking to do some crazy awesome things with your 4-cost cards. We are breaking down Zabu, and we're going to show you some of the first games that I played with Zabu and the deck that I'm going to try and explore first, along with talking through some possible other decks that you can probably see him in. So, let's check out the breakdown. So of course, Zabu is a brand new character. He is the seasonal character for this season of Marvel Snap, which is the 8th season in Marvel Snap. Even though we've only been a part of October, November, December, and now January, we've only been a part of 4 of them. 4 of them were in the closed beta, so this is number 8. Another 3-cost card to add to the seasonal characters. There was a ton of those in the recent past, so here's another one, and he's pretty good. If we're ranking them 1 through 10, I think this guy's in the top 3. We'll find out what the season holds, but he's really powerful. 3 energy, 2 power. Your 4-cost cards cost 2 less to a minimum of 1, which means if you play him on 3, you can play 2 cards on 4. If you play him on 5, you can play 3 4s on 5. Lots of good synergy, lots of good power with this guy. He is very similar to the feeling that Silver Surfer gave in the Power Cosmic season. So it's fun. He's a lot of fun cards. A lot of combinations, a lot of really playable 4-cost characters in the game that this guy is going to combo with. I think, unlike Surfer, who felt, pretty straightforward in building and like, yeah, I'm going to play Brood and I'm going to play this, and like the real difference is if I'm going to play Mr. Negative and the 3 zeros, or am I going to play the Sarah version with just the big beefy boys with, Polaris and Maximus and things like that. This guy is very different, like there are a lot of really interesting 4-cost cards that all synergize with each other really well, and you can't just pile them all in to the same deck. So he's definitely going to have different avenues and different play styles that I think he's going to excel at. And I think that's my favorite part about this particular seasonal character, is that he's going to enable a lot of cards of the past that must not necessarily been the best cards to be playing. They were always like a tier 2 or a tier 3, maybe even a tier 4 type of deck that I believe Zabu is going to raise, raise all tides. And it might not make it necessarily better than like a Negative Surfer or a Sarah Surfer. What it's going to do is it's going to make the decks in the tier 2, tier 3, and tier 4 all rise up. And one of them might even be able to contend with the likes of the Surfer decks that we've seen do so well last season. So, of course, let's get into it. Let's talk about the first deck that I'm going to play this guy in. I'm calling it Zabu Dracula. It's basically a Reanimator deck. We are utilizing Zabu and Lockjaw in this deck. We're playing Blade, we're playing Morbius, we're playing Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, Hellcow, Hela, Apocalypse, Giganto, and the Infinite. I'm only playing 3 4-cost cards, and then we're kind of finishing out the game with 6s. This is a very combo-oriented version, and I'm still very much in the infant phase of this deck. I've now played about plus 20 win cubes worth of games with it. We started at rank 70, we're up to rank 72 now, and we'll see some of the gameplay that I've recorded as we were going through that. But this deck, it's very similar to a Lockjaw deck from the past, except we don't have Wasp and things like that. Right now it's about finding the correct number of things. There's a potential that maybe I don't need Blade and I would rather have a Wasp. Maybe I don't necessarily need Moon Knight. I would like another 4. Definitely some things that we're going to have to play through and learn about this. But of course, with the combination of Lockjaw and Zabu as your 3-cost characters, Lockjaw is about finding a way to cheat out big characters that really do really powerful things. Zabu is doing the exact same type of thing where, if you can Zabu with your hand and then Hellcow, discard 2 big cards, and then Ghost Rider, one of them back, awesome. Same thing, Hellcow is getting rid of the cards in your hand to narrow down Apocalypse or Infinite for your Dracula at the end of the game. I've already played, in one of the clips you'll see, I had a 28 power Dracula it gets a little out of hand with Lockjaw and the accelerant of continuously scrapping the Apocalypse. So it can get out of hand. This deck is a lot of fun so far. I've never played Lockjaw before. As you can see, he's a green border character. He was one of the last cards in Series 3 that I actually acquired. Now that I am Series 3 complete. Same thing with Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was one of the I think it was the 4th or 5th from the last card that I had played, so I hadn't played with these cards, which is really why I'm starting with this particular deck in this season, because it's going to enable me to play some cards that I have not had a lot of experience with that I think are going to be really good in this season. You know, a 2-cost Ghost Rider that has 3 power that brings a card back from the discard pile is an insanely powerful ability. Combination with Dracula being a 2-cost, you know, a 2-power character, discarding Apocalypse, Giganto, or Infinite, all very powerful, big things that you're going to get power for. Moon Knight can disrupt your opponent enough. You know, if you can Lockjaw with Moon Knight, make them discard a card, get them back, do it again. You know, I've already seen it a couple of times now. As I said before, there are some considerations that I would go for. I do think Morbius is a pretty powerful card in the deck, but I don't know that it's necessary per se. You know, these are the things we have to figure out. You know, I've already won a game where I didn't play a card until turn 3, and then my opponent was retreating on turn 5. Like that's the power that this deck represents. So there's definitely some arguments to be made that you can do some different things with this archetype, and by no means is this going to be the end-all be-all best version of this deck, more than likely. Like I said, still in the infant stage, but we're going to go through the first couple games I played with the deck. As I said, we're at a plus 20 cube rate. We started at 70, we're now at 72, so not too bad. Probably about an hour of playing since it came out, so not too bad. So let's take a look at the gameplay as we'll go through my thoughts and decisions of this deck so far, and then we'll catch you back in the final breakdown. Alright guys, let's get in, break down this first game. Great opener. We have Zabu, we have Dracula, we have Hellcow, we have all the power we could possibly want. Very good start for us. Iceman sucks. Yep. I think we'll be seeing a lot of that, actually. I think Iceman's going to be pretty good in the anti-Zabu decks. I can't imagine seeing it. Goose also. Ironically, Goose not as good right now because Zabu breaks Goose because it makes your 4s a 2. So Goose might not be nearly as powerful as he once looked with the ability to kind of just break that down. So he plays a Storm here, and I think maybe he has a Storm, but we also have the Citadel, which is a good note. When I made this play line, I actually missed that. But I think it is what it is. You know, I wanted to put the Lockjaw on this lane anyway. We get out a Moon Knight, we get rid of his Shang-Chi, which is great for us. We get rid of our Hellcow, which in this game we were probably going to play it eventually, but it wouldn't have been until later in the game. So it's not the end of the world. But this is like where we feel like we messed up maybe a little bit. But we're going to get to play Zabu here. And then from Zabu, we're going to see where we can go with the game. Because we can Zabu left, and then we can play Dracula left, and then see how the Lockjaw plays out. It also, with that, we have the ability to move with New York. So we can actually move a card off of the Citadel. And with that, we can use the ability of Lockjaw more than once, potentially. But we'll see. So he waves, which is good for us because our Dracula costs 2, and we have Hela still. We're pretty confident that Dracula can win us New York. So we want to move Moon Knight away because we don't want Hela to hit the early. We don't want Hela to hit New York. We want Hela to hit the flooded lane if we can help it. So we got Infinite back, which is great. We get to get rid of our shitty card in our hand, and we get Apocalypse, and then we get to cycle Hela. So Hela gets cycled. We have a billion power on the right. We have a Dracula on the left. We get to discard Apocalypse again, and we end up winning all 3 lanes. Just like that, right there in game 1, you can see how powerful this deck truly is. Let's check out game 2. Alright, so we're coming into game 2 here. Nothing happened in the first turn, so I just went right by it. We get Central Park as our second location. It's not a great location for us. You know, it fills up a lane for Lockjaw, which is kind of crappy for us. But what you're going to do, we get to put Zabu on the right here, get some value over the course of the game with Mer Island. And then, of course, now we have, you can see it, we have Dracula, we have Ghost Rider. Now, I don't think Ghost Rider is quite good just yet, but before the game is over, there's a good chance that we can utilize him. He looks a little bit better now, but I think we gamble here, and we just play Blade. We really thought about Karmataging it, but we didn't want to do that just yet. We wanted to keep him on the right. We want to try to stay ahead on the right, because our opponent does look like a good stuff deck, and because of it's a good stuff deck, then a lot of his stat lines aren't great, especially with the Thor to the left, and we think Dracula can attempt to compete with Thor on the left. This way now we're getting +4 returns, so we're pretty far ahead on that. However, now we're at a weird point where this Ghost Rider isn't going to do anything, but it's probably value to play it out and continue cycling through our deck, which is exactly what's going to happen. We are representing at least 14 power on Karmatage, but obviously if he gets a hammer or something like that, we can't really beat the Thor. He surfers here, which I found was really weird. I think it's just an attempt to catch up, but it's not doing him too many favors. So I guess it really depends. I mean, this Moon Knight could have really hurt him, obviously. Like, it hits his Wong, which I guess not. I guess I'm really shocked he didn't Wong there. Like, the Wong on the Surfer seems insane, so I'm really shocked that like wasn't his play line. We thought about doing this, and then we realized really quickly, like, oh wait, we don't want to do that. We probably just want to cycle Morbius and try and win that way, because we have to hope that we have enough power to win left, as if like he didn't draw Hammer basically. So like we need this minimum 14 power to even attempt, but that might even not be good enough, so we really need Morbius to go away to potentially scrap Apocalypse again as our best chance of winning, or picking up a Hela or something like that, giving ourselves the best chance of winning the game. We did get Hela. You can see there's a kind of a bug there. My Hela is over the Morbius. I don't know exactly what happened there. But he didn't end up playing to right for Mer's Island, and we just won on power. It was just a weird game played by him. I guess he just missed. Not sure. But we'll see the next game. Alright, so third game here with the deck again. So Citadel's a really interesting one. It could double the power of Morbius, which isn't bad, but it also can double the power of Zabu to make our 4s cost 1. Obviously, there's Iceman again, hits my Dracula, sad pandas all around, but with the Dracula, interestingly enough, Project Pegasus hits, so we didn't play a card last turn, which is great for us, because it just means we get to just play Infinite. I do think I messed up here. I think I should have played Infinite on Project Pegasus. Knowing that Giganto is still in my hand, and I can only play Giganto to the left, it's very likely that Giganto is good enough with Morbius to win left. So I really wish I would have just played the center here. If I play the center here, I'm still at 12 power, which really means he has to compete for the mid. I think it just puts us better, like overall, in a better position in the game. This Moon Knight was a fine discard, gets rid of Giganto, which puts it in the yard, which is a great card. Even better with the Storm. So now I can Ghost Rider right and get back Giganto and just be ahead on right and left and just kind of be like really ahead in the game. The Lockjaw Morbius is nice because we can just filter that on turn 5. He ends up not playing anything there. I guess he just, once again, assumes he can't win because we're going to put 17 power over there, which is fine. We're just very far ahead now, I think. So we get to play Lockjaw, play Morbius. We're going to kind of just give up on center for the most part, which he commits a little bit more to. We got Hela again for nothing, which was a bummer, but we're at 28 power. We have negative 1 million power there, so like there's just no way we can win there. But we can't really lose right, at least we don't think we can. So we just play down Dracula, and our opponent concedes. So let's check out the last game I have for you. Alright, so this is going to be the last game we take a look at, guys, with this particular Zabu deck. We're going to be doing plenty of other Zabu decks on the week. Lots to look at with the new character, lots of fun, different deck ideas. I didn't want to just utilize just one, so here's the last game for this one, and then we'll do a final breakdown of this deck. Giganto on turn 1, not bad. Gets him on the left lane, which is great, which is fine for us, gets him out there. Ghost Rider getting hit kind of sucks, but it's not the end of the world. In this particular game, everything getting buffed. Hellcow being an ungodly superstar for, if we can hit a Zabu, he's going to be 2 power for 8. We just get him. We actually just get rid of him, which is hilarious, but in this particular line, I think it's correct. We have Apocalypse in hand, so we get rid of Infinite, and then we get rid of Blade, which is great, because now our Ghost Rider just gets to come in and hit one of those 2 characters if it hits Blade. We got the Moon Knight, so it was kind of a bummer, was we didn't hit Apocalypse one time there. Not super ideal. We're just going to float Zabu away. He's definitely going to be looking for some power with his rescue, which is fine. We get rid of Zabu, we move him, we get our Dracula back, which is great. He gets a vision, which is pretty powerful. This is the final turn of the game, though, which is great for us because we hit Hellcow again. We're going to... I think we Hellcowed here because we were trying to hit Hella. Because Hella would have been a really nice blowout powerful turn. But even hitting this Apocalypse just 2 more times, ticking that up to 18 was pretty big. Morbius is great. We get to tick again. We get to hit again. You can just see it. 35. The Miss Marvel can't even move to win anywhere. The deck has a lot of power. Let's talk about it in the final breakdown, guys. Well, there you go, guys. First couple games of the season that I played with Zabu Dracula. As I said, I'm going to be doing a breakdown for other Zabu decks. I didn't want to break down one full deck and give you a bunch of them. I wanted to play each of them, show you where I'm at with the different decks as we go through the next couple days, and just really go through all the possibilities there are with Zabu. He really does open up a ton of decks. On reveal, animate, Cerebro 3 is one that I have in the making, trying to make Spider-Man and Absorbing Man work within it to boost everything with your Cerebro and your Mystiques. Just a lot of power, honestly. A lot of fun, a lot of power. Zabu really is going to create a lot of different archetypes, which I think is my favorite as we go through the next few weeks trying to explore what is the best Zabu deck in the game. This is the one, like I said, I want to explore first because Ghost Rider and Lockjaw were cards I didn't have before that I do have now, and I wanted to enjoy some gameplay and see what we can do with that with the deck currently. So all in all, this deck is really powerful. It's really fun. The archetype, the whole animate archetype, I think it has a lot of potential. Hellcow and Ghost Rider and Dracula are 3/4 drops that are all very powerful in their own right. They all represent a ton of power. They synergize really well together, so they're a great into this Zabu package. Like I said, this deck could potentially pick up another 4-drop card. Maybe a Shang-Chi just as like a little bit of a counter against decks that are trying to be, trying to do the same thing as you is always possible. Still not sold on the Moon Knight. I think that's a card that you can definitely look to rotate in and out. I do really enjoy the Lockjaw and Zabu combo. It creates 2 windows like for your opponents to really have to interact with one or the other. Maybe not be able to get rid of both of them. Also, it's not the end of the world if you were to play a Lockjaw, play a Zabu on 3. It's answered quickly. You can still recover with Lockjaw on 4. I found that a lot of times I was doing that actually, where I was going to Zabu on 3, so then I could Lockjaw on 4, and then set up my big turn 5 and turn 6 plays throughout that way. This way it also gives them a turn, like if they're going to interact with your Zabu on turn 4, well now you know that your new plan is Lockjaw and you still have a plan rather than like getting totally burnt on that plan. So which is what I really enjoy. I think most decks that have the ability to, not end on the first mishap in a game, very important. Obviously, if your Hellcow hits and you have Ghost Rider Apocalypse, you know, Dracula and Hella in your hand, and your Hellcow goes down and hits your Hella and your Ghost Rider, that's probably not a very good game. You're probably just going to retreat. Probably not going to win that one. But, you know, those can definitely happen. That's the type of deck that this is. You're working with a lot of RNG synergies that when you high roll, you really do high roll and you come way out ahead. Dracula is an unavoidable threat. You know, it's a undetectable threat until it's too late, and your opponent has very little ways to interact with it whatsoever because it is the very end of the game thing. So you can't be Shang-Chi'd. It's not an ongoing ability. It can't be Entrenchresses or Rogue. So like the deck has a lot of ways to present a ton of power that your opponent can't interact with, which is the most powerful thing I think this deck has to offer. So give it a try. Let me know how if it works for you. Let me know if you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments what you guys are doing with your Zabu first. You know, this was the first deck that I went to. I have 3 others made and ready to go and ready to play, but this was the first one that I wanted to play with, the first one that I thought was really interesting and fun and gives me some really great times for the first night of the season. So please let me know in the comments what you did with them. Of course, if you made it this far in the video and you liked the information and helped, hit that like button. It does really help. We are officially now the Daily Snapped. We have lost the Alpha Trion moniker, and this entire page is now completely dedicated to Marvel Snap content, and we are very excited to finally start 2023 in that world and become the Daily Snap officially, and looking forward to a great 2023. If you can, and you're not yet, hit that subscribe button as we continue to grow. I'm very excited. We were plus 70 subscribers in the month of December. I would love to get to 1,000 as quickly as possible. So if you, once again, you made it all the way, you're listening to me jibber jabber, you enjoyed the content, you want to see more content, please hit the subscribe button as we continue to grow. It means a whole lot. And comment. Let me know in the comments what you're doing with your Zabu. I want to do it. I want to play it. I have all of Series 3 now. I can build lots of different decks. If you're doing something crazy, let me know about it. I'll put it to the test as well. Thank you guys again, and we will catch you in the next video, and Happy New Year's, and happy snapping. We are in a new season. It's exciting. Catch you in the next one, guys.